One of the success secrets of fast-growing companies is a project-driven process, which offers enough room for creativity but still have a very strong structure. Process which lets team members work most efficiently and achieve best and groundbreaking results. One of the well-established operational models, at least in the digital business, is known as Scrum. And to talk about Scrum, we have invited a specialist who implements agile workflow into the company's DNA. So today's face is Urs Reupke. Urs, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Dennis.
You support companies to implement agile workflow into the company's DNA. Would you say that Scrum is that one success formula for every company?
No, I wouldn't say that. There is no blueprint that makes every company successful. Scrum is about focus on product and dedication to the customer. And if you have other things in mind, then Scrum may not be for you. However, if you have a product and have a strong vision and are willing to adapt to market realities, then Scrum might be right up your alley. So for a startup with a fresh service or with a new product to bring to the public, Scrum could serve very well.
You said that you can implement Scrum also in startups. How flexible is Scrum? Does it depend on the team size or task size? Can I implement Scrum in every company? It doesn't matter how big or small it is?
Yes, actually you can. Scrum works well with all sizes of companies and with all manners of businesses. So that comes with a small caveat. There are extensions of Scrum that do. Simple Scrum, as you read in the introductory books, focuses on one team. And incidentally, this is where I would recommend most people to start, because there are some ideas in Scrum or in Agile methodologies in general which appear counterintuitive at first. Start small, do one team, get it right, and then start scaling. That's the secret of success.
Mm-hmm. Is there still, is it possible to say what is the best setup for the team? How big should the team be to work efficiently?
I wouldn't like teams to grow larger than 10 people because communication starts to break down very quickly after that point, and communication is core to having a well-working team. So if you have 4 to 10 people, that's a great size for your team. Less than 4 tends to be, well, not really a team. It's too small to be called a team usually. And beyond that, well, split it up. Go for 2 teams, go for 3, and have each team grow individually, but don't have one supersized mega team.
Okay. And what kind of people should you necessarily have in the team, like Scrum Master or Product Owner or any other people who has to be in the team?
Yes, so Scrum Master and Product Owner are the two signature roles in a Scrum process, which everybody probably has heard about by now. And you need these. You need the Product Owner to take care of business priorities and to deal with stakeholder and customer interests. And you need a Scrum Master to have the dedication to a great collaboration, to a great workflow, to good process. Because everybody else is much too busy to take care of that. So, and then you have the team. And the team, I'd recommend doing it cross-functional. So not only take people from a single area of work, from a single specialization, like development or graphics design, but rather have people from multiple skill sets, multiple specializations in one team. So anything the market demands or the customers ask for can be inspected from all angles, from multiple perspectives, and then you can devise a single solution from all these perspectives in one go and have it ready much faster, with a much quicker time to market than you would have if you first do design and then do implementation and finally do whatever comes after in your organization. So if you want to reap all the rewards that Scrum can offer, if you want to get all it can give, go cross-functional.
Okay.
However, well, now that I think of it, I wouldn't recommend to get the full value chain in one team right from the beginning. Rather, start with something where the people at the front still know what the people at the back are doing. So maybe you have business analysts and a designer and some software developers and a tester in a team, but not extended in the full range to marketing and sales and whatever else, because those people still have to collaborate and be open to work with each other. And if they don't understand, then that won't work. Rather, start small and expand.
Scrum is a team-based process, so far I know. But sometimes you have some characters who try to occupy key positions to get more awareness than others. How to avoid this?
Well, I think this fully egoless approach to collaboration, that's not a fiction. So you can't take the ego out of people, but you can find out what they're after. Are they after recognition? Are they after money? Are they after happiness in the workplace? I don't know. So you can take that and show them what's in it for them in collaborating with other people, what's in it for them in being a great team player. Let's stick with the example of recognition. There's so much more that a team of 10 can achieve than a single person can achieve, and so much more recognition to get by that those people who are after recognition might be actually well served to be team players because they are more recognized through that.
Well, that's true, yeah. If I would decide to implement Scrum in my company today, what should I be aware of and how long would it take for implementation?
You should be aware of that implementing Scrum or adopting Agile methodologies in general means change. And change always triggers something in people, makes them queasy. Yeah. So be aware of that and be ready to deal with that. There will be all kinds of matters that come up. However, apart from that, just go for it. Start small, get it right, keep going, and always look at what your market needs, what your product needs, what your people need. You can't go wrong with that. As for the second part of the question, how long does it take? Well, you can get a team in good shape working with Scrum in half a year, less than half a year. Even less if you have a small company like a startup that's still that's still growing. Yeah. But that's only the beginning of the journey. So beyond that is having a fully agile organization, an organization that's custom bred to make lightning speed decisions about the product, about changing markets. To get there, it takes longer, of course. We're talking about 18 months at the very least, but probably some years to get there, depending on your people, on your product, on your market. And even then, some companies don't stop. So those companies go even further beyond thinking about their product or their product portfolio only, but take up a holistic, a systemic view of the market. And looking at those companies, they keep changing. What they did 10 years ago is so different from what they do now that they might virtually be different companies. But all the while, they've kept delighting their customers, and they've kept earning truckloads of money, and that's a great thing in my book.
Oh, great. Are there any challenges which can be solved with Scrum?
Yes, actually there are. As I've said before, Scrum is about focus on the product and dedication to the customer. And some companies, unfortunately, expect to reap the rewards of that, but change nothing else. That is, they want to keep existing hierarchies and power. They want to keep, or expect to keep, politics in play, and discover soon after that that doesn't work. So going fully Scrum, so to say, brings some change to the company at large. And you have to be willing to accept that and work with that. It's a good change, but still it's change, and change sometimes hurts.
What are the requirements for implementing Scrum into the companies?
Accepting change,
Okay.
and dedication to company, to customer and product, as I said before. Scrum is a framework, so it's very open to be adapted to your specific circumstances. And Scrum doesn't tell you what's right for your organization, or what's right for your product, or what's right for your customer. You have to make up your mind on that and go with it. Scrum offers you a formula, so to speak, but you have to tinker with that formula. And that's built into Scrum, actually. So one of the core tenets, one of the pillars of Scrum is that you have to inspect and adopt. That you have to inspect and adapt. So inspect what the market needs, what your customers need, and adapt your product to that, but also inspect what your work processes, what your company needs, and adapt to that. And Scrum has that built into its DNA, and over the course of a Scrum development product, Scrum product lifecycle, people will tinker with that quite extensively. I've worked with companies in the past, and I remember them quite vividly and quite fondly, actually, where I walked into the door and said, well, this has nothing to do with Scrum anymore, but it works for them. And it works quite well, and it keeps changing to this day, and well, that's the secret of their success.
Mm-hmm. Great. So at the end of every episode, we ask our guests to give some recommendations to our audience. Do you have any book, link, or maybe tool for our audience?
I'll take the last one first and go with tools. And my recommendation there is start simple. You don't need anything else than a pen and some sticky notes to get started with Scrum. I know it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it works. There are all kinds of digital tools on the market which help you to design and implement your Scrum process, but those tools, in my experience, limit you in what you can do and in the creativity you can have with your process. And especially in the beginning, you will find that the process changes quite often, because change is one of the paradigms of Scrum, one of the core tenets. So you regularly look at what works with our process and what does not work, and then change it so it works better. And to support that change, your tools need to be flexible. And there's nothing more flexible than a big black wall and some sticky notes which you can just shift around. And once you've had some experience with Scrum, have gone for 3 months or half a year, and things start to consolidate, and a process grows and becomes more fixed, then you can look at the digital space and see how to implement it there and what tool is right for you with the experience you now have. So that's tools. As for books, well, you never go wrong with the classics. There's all manner of great management literature from the past 50 years, from people like Peter Drucker, for example, and there is so much wisdom which we tend to forget about because it's old. Read them, it's great. Personally, I love solving conventional problems with unconventional means. And one book that stood out for me was The Art of Action by Stephen Bungay. Stephen Bungay is a historian and management consultant from the UK. Actually, he studied here in Germany, and he wrote a great book at the lessons we can learn from history to implement in today's management. And that was very insightful and groundbreaking book for me.
This is probably an advanced level. Do you have some books for the beginners who just want to start with Scrum?
Sure. For our English audience, there is Ken Schwaber's Software in 30 Days. Ken Schwaber is one of the minds behind the original Scrum, and it's always good to read from the source itself. And then, of course, there's a book that two of my colleagues wrote, Stefan Rook and Henning Wolf. It's called Scrum Verstehen und Erfolgreich Einsetzen. In English, this is Understanding and Implementing Scrum Successfully. It's an introductory level book which goes into some advanced topics, so I can wholly recommend it. And if you'd like to, we can give away a copy or two to the audience.
Oh, it will be great. So, yeah, just subscribe to our channel, like it, share it, and you can get 2 copies of this book. Great. Cool. Great. Thank you very much. I don't have any questions. If you have questions, then write it in the comment area, and we will try to answer all of them. So, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.